What is up, guys?
Wait, Owen. I want to review Venom.
Venom? I'm trying to review this movie.
No, come on. I want to review the movie.
No, I'm supposed to review this movie.
No, we should review this movie. What do you think about that?
No, Venom, there is no we, okay? This is a me thing, not a we thing.
Come on, man. I want to review this movie. Come on.
Alright. Look. If you let me review this movie, you can eat anybody, like anybody.
Deal.
Deal?
Even Mrs. Chen?
Yes, even Mrs. Chen next door.
Deal.
Alright, deal. Sometimes Venom gets on my nerves. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Alan Zabrinka, and today I'm going to review the anticipated comic book movie sequel that finally just came out in Australia, Venom.
Let there be carnage.
This movie is directed by Andy Serkis and stars Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, Naomie Harris, and Michelle Williams. Eddie Brock / Venom, played by Tom Hardy, attempts to reunite his career by interviewing serial killer Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, who becomes the host of the symbiote Carnage and escapes prison after a failed execution. Now, of course, I was pumped for this movie because I really enjoyed the first Venom. It's not a perfect movie, but I honestly thought the movie was a lot of fun. It's because of Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock / Venom. I think it's one of my favorite Eddie Brock / Venoms that put into screen, and that's no shit for that because have you seen Topher Grace from Spider-Man 3? Ugh. But I thought the first movie was just a lot of fun. It's not a perfect movie, it has flaws, like the villain wasn't great, and it took a little while to get to the Venom aspects, but the movie from start to finish was just a blast for me. So of course I was really pumped to see what Andy Serkis can do with the sequel. Andy Serkis has been mostly in motion capture work, so it's really interesting to see him as a director. So this is my first Andy Serkis movie that I'm ever going to see from his. I'm excited for this movie, not just because of Tom Hardy returning as Eddie Brock / Venom, because I'm excited for that as well, but I'm also pumped for Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, known as Carnage. I'm really excited for that as well, because Woody Harrelson is a pretty good cast for Carnage, and I heard that Carnage is basically one of the best and iconic symbiotes in the Venom series, and one of the most ruthless in the series. So, of course, I was really excited to see what this film can present. Now, this is a non-spoiler review, by the way. I'm not going to spoil any elements from Venom Let There Be Carnage, even though there are some aspects that are already spoiled because it came out so early in America and it came out now in Australia. But for people who have not seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, you are safe with me. Not going to spoil the movie. Now, is this movie as good as the first one? After I saw this film, I would say it is. I had a blast with Venom Let There Be Carnage. Is it a perfect movie? Absolutely not. It's a popcorn fun comic book movie like the first one was. But this film kind of ups it up a bit, and I think Andy Serkis directed this movie really, really well. I love the look of this movie. It's definitely much more darker than the first Venom movie. Yes, it's lighthearted like the first one at parts, but throughout this movie, because of Carnage, this movie has a very different tone than the first Venom. I think my biggest positive of this film is definitely Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock / Venom. They definitely explored more of their relationship in this movie. I think their chemistry is top notch. I love them two together. They bring up a lot of laughs because this movie is much more of a comedy than a comic book movie, because this movie really drags with the comedy in a good way, because the comedy actually works in this movie. I actually laughed because of their chemistry. Their chemistry, their line deliveries are well done, and they work really, really well together. I think Tom Hardy does a great job of being both of those characters. Woody Harrelson was really good as Cletus Cassidy. He is really good at playing this maniac murderer that is basically crazy, and I think Woody Harrelson's great at playing those roles, and he is really good as Cletus Cassidy. But the look of Carnage himself looks awesome. He looks so badass in this film. It looks so menacing and terrifying in this film. The way they introduce Carnage in this film, like the trailer showed, it's that prison scene. It introduces like how Venom was introduced, like a horror movie, but much more of a horror film. And I really liked how Carnage was introduced in this film. I love the design of Carnage. It looks fantastic. It looks so accurate to the comics. And I think Woody Harrelson, I don't know if he voiced Carnage. I think he did. If I'm wrong, I'll put the voice over there. But I would say Woody Harrelson does a great job in this film from acting perspective, and Carnage looks cool and is very menacing in this film. I would say this film is definitely filmed better than the first movie, especially when it comes to the action scenes, because one of the action scenes in the first Venom, where Venom is versing Riot, you can't really see what is going on, and it kind of ruins that moment for me. This film has very clear action scenes, and Andy Serkis directed this film really, really well. The action is filmed very well. The action was just a lot of fun. It's popcorn fun. You just want to see two monsters fight each other, and this movie definitely presented it. It kind of reminds me of Kong vs. Godzilla, basically. That's how much fun I had with this movie. It has that exact same feels that I had with Kong vs. Godzilla. Just want to see these two symbiotes fight, and this movie presented that, and it's really well done. This film is funny. It even has some heartwarming parts, and I think this movie knows what it's trying to be. It's not trying to be a perfect movie. It's just trying to be a fun popcorn movie, and Venom Let There Be Carnage does that for me, and I think it is a much better movie than the first one, because this movie is much more short than the first movie. That's a positive and a negative. The positive is that the film, it knows what it's going for. It's not going for subplots. It's going for this one thing and one thing only with this one story. It stays where it was, and that's the best part I can explain it, and that's what's really good about the film. But that's when we're going to get into the problems. It's not a perfect movie. I knew it's not going to be a perfect movie going in. I know it's going to have flaws. Since this movie is an hour and 30 minutes long, even though it kept its pace up, it knows what it's going for, it is a little bit too rushed. This whole film is very fast-paced, not like the first movie. The first movie took its time to get to Eddie Brock and Venom. This movie, it goes way too fast. Like, it's an hour and 30 minutes long. It's pretty short for a comic book movie. And I would say, as much as I really enjoyed the movie from start to finish, it is a bit rushed. I wish there are things in Venom Let There Be Carnage they could have explored more, especially Cletus Cassidy in the film. And that's why I say the acting was great from his character, but the character himself, I wish the movie could have been much longer. I wish the movie could have explained more of Cletus Cassidy in the film, because he's basically just this crazy maniac guy with a past, of course, but it's basically explained through visual storytelling, like you see like drawings of what happens in his life, and I'm like, this could have been a really good opportunity to make this movie much more longer, to explore more of him. I think one of the reasons is that this movie doesn't want to be rated R, because Carnage himself in the comics is brutal. There is a lot of crazy shit that Cletus Cassidy does in the comics, and this movie is keeping it safe, which I guess that's fine for like kids and stuff, but if you think about it, why is this movie not rated R? Or neither does the first Venom. Why is it not rated R? I think that's my biggest issue with both of these two movies. Why aren't they rated R? Especially this movie, because Carnage is supposed to be a blood-hungry symbiote. He kills people. You see blood. He even eats a baby, I think, in the comics, what I've heard. So it's crazy. And it's really crazy that they make this character PG-13. But back to Cletus Cassidy, I wish they could have explored him a lot more, because there is a subplot in this film that's how the villain plot goes along, and it has something to do with Naomie Harris's character, which I'm not going to spoil, of course, because the trailers didn't really reveal it. I just think, yeah, that's just, okay. It's an arc, but I wish they could have explored a bit more with those characters in the film. Anne, played by Michelle Williams, returns in this film. I'm not a fan of her in the first movie, and I'm not a fan of her in this movie. She's mostly very useless in this film. She's not in the film all that much, which I honestly thought she's just going to be in one scene, and that's it. Nah, she wasn't in the film more than I thought, and I just didn't like her character. I'm sorry. Like, I really didn't like her plot development in this movie, because she's basically useless. She didn't need to be in this movie at all. If she wasn't in this movie, the movie wouldn't make any freaking difference. Overall, I had a blast with Venom Let There Be Carnage. I think it is a much better movie than the first movie. I think the whole story was very investing the whole way through, even though they could have explored the story a lot more with Cletus Cassidy. But throughout the movie, this is a fun popcorn movie. I really enjoyed Venom Let There Be Carnage. I think it is better than the first one. It's much better paced than the first movie. It knows exactly what it is. It's just a fun monster movie that is funny and has great heart. Tom Hardy is still great as Eddie Brock / Venom. I think Woody Harrelson was great in the movie for what he is given. The cast, they're good for what they're given. I just wish the movie could have explored more about the villain, because we don't get much of exploration with the villain. But as a film, I had a blast with Venom Let There Be Carnage, and I am going to give this movie a B-. So guys, that is my spoiler-free review for Venom Let There Be Carnage. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or I thought the film's alright? Just let me know in the comments below. And before I end this review, if you're watching this movie, please stay till the mid-credit scene, because the mid-credit scene is mind-boggling. Maybe that's why the movie's not going to be rated R. Not going to spoil right there, but it's mind-blowing. So, not gonna spoil it, check out the mid-credit scene because it's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contacting with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And have a nice day.